welcome to the Tristan channel, and today I'll be doing a video on voodoo and how it's a misunderstood religion. I was going to do a big information thing jig going on, but it just to put the script down, all that, it was just it's just been laborious. So I thought I'd cover an article here that will explain about it, but because, again, it comes down to a lot of... Excuse me a second. Because it's been irking me, you see, because apart from Hollywood films and all that sort of jazz, yeah, you hear in Ghost Investigation, where, oh, people used to practice voodoo here and blah, blah, blah. It's like, voodoo isn't evil. It's essentially a religion. I think it was brought over by Africa to America from Africa. It's got its roots in Africa and Haiti and all that sort of places. You know what I mean? So, but we'll cover it in this article. Yeah, this is Voodoo: Facts about Misunderstood Religion by Benjamin Radford, published 30th October 2013. It looks like this because I put it on simplified view, so it's easy to scroll through. Voodoo is a sensationalized pop culture caricature of voodoo, hoodoo, an Afro-Caribbean religion that originated in Haiti, though its followers can be found in Jamaica, the Dominican Republic, Brazil, the United States, and elsewhere. It has very little to do with so-called voodoo dolls or zombies. Voodoo refers to a whole assortment of cultural elements, personal creeds, practices, including an elaborate system of folk medicine practices, a system of ethics transmitted across generations, including proverbs, stories, songs, and folklore. Voodoo is more than belief; it is a way of life, wrote Leslie Des Mangles, a Haitan professor at Hartford's Trinity College, in the Encyclopedia of the Paranormal. Prometheus Books, 1996. Sorry about that. Oh, what's happened here? I hate it when it does that. In no way did I... Right. I'm going to bitch slap this thing a minute. Right. Voodoo teaches belief in a supreme being called Bondi, an unknowable and uninvolved creator god. Voodoo believers worship many spirits called Loa. Forgive me if I pronounce some of these words wrong. Each one of whom is responsible for a specific domain or part of life. For example, if you're a farmer, you might give praise and offerings to the spirit of agriculture. So kind of like the Romans with their gods for like summer, agriculture, and all that sort of stuff. If you're also, I did a video on Papa Legba and how he's misunderstood. He's more of a spirit guide than a demon. He's not a demon. Oh yeah, and also Debbie Harry did a song called "The Invocation of Papa Lama." You should check it out; it's really good. Papa Legba. Hey, if you're suffering from unrequited love, you would praise or leave offerings for Azuli Frida, spirit of love, and so on. In addition to helping or impeding human affairs, Loa can also manifest themselves by possessing the bodies of their worshippers. Followers of Voodoo also believe in universal energy and a soul that can leave the body during dreams and spirit possession. In Christian theology, spiritual possession is usually considered to be an act of evil, either Satan or some demonic entity trying to enter an unwilling human vessel. In Voodoo, however, possession by Loa is desired in a ceremony guided by a priest or priestess. This possession is considered a valuable first-hand spiritual experience and connection with the spirit world. History of Voodoo. Voodoo originated with slaves who combined elements of the Western African traditions and beliefs with the Roman Catholicism imposed upon them by their masters in the process called syncretism. A 1685 law forbade the practice of African religions and required all masters to Christianize their slaves within 8 days of their arrival. Slavery was condoned by the Catholic Church as a tool for converting Africans to morally upright Christians. Slaves forced to adopt Catholic rituals thus gave them double meanings, and in the process many of their spirits became associated with Christian saints. Furthermore, Des Mangles notes many of the African spirits were adapted to their new milieu in the New World Order. Ogun, for instance, the Nigerian spirit of ironsmiths, hunting and warfare, took a new persona. He became Ogu, the military leader who has led phalanxes into battle against oppression. In Haiti today, Ogu inspires many political revolutions that oust undesirable oppressive regimes. Though Haitian slavery ended in the early 1800s, followers of Voodoo were often persecuted by authorities who demonized their religion. An 1889 book titled Haiti or the Black Republic, Filiquarian 2012, falsely attributed human sacrifices, cannibalism, and other atrocities to Voodoo, further spreading fear of the religion. Many fundamentalist Christians still regard Voodoo and Voodoo with suspicion, hence why in America it's seen as evil. And it's portrayed that way in Hollywood and films and horror films, and it's like, yeah, it's nonsense. With suspicion associating the occult, black magic, and Satanism. Again, Satanism doesn't exist. Another one that doesn't exist. Modern day Satanism is actually an atheistic belief and stuff like that. But before the Church of Satan and organisations like that, it never actually existed. It's just an excuse to persecute people who don't believe in or follow the church. Even today, voodoo is used as an adjective to describe something that is unknowable, mysterious, or simply unworkable. For example, in 1980, George H.W. Bush famously disparaged Ronald Reagan's monetary policies as voodoo economic. Voodoo and zombies. The more sensational aspects of voodoo, such as a belief in zombies and animal sacrifice, have provided fodder for countless television shows and movies in the form of voodoo. Zombies are especially a good example of how a religious element can be taken out of context and become a global phenomenon. According to the Oxford English Dictionary, the word zombie first appeared in English around 1810 when historian Robert Salvi mentioned it in his book History of Brazil. But this zombie was not the familiar brain-eating man-like monster, but instead, like many voodoo Alua, a West African deity. The word later came to suggest the vital human force leaving the shell of a body and ultimately a creature in form but lacking self-awareness, intelligence, and a soul. It's also why we use the term for, like, is it people who was it catatonics, or people who are not quite there but they can still walk and stuff. You know, they're like, oh, they're zombified, or they walk like a zombie. No, I mean, it's, we use it for slang in terms of that. So it's like, you know. The original Haitian zombies were not villains but victims. Haitian zombies were said to be people brought back from the dead and sometimes controlled through magical means by priests called bokors. Sometimes, again, I apologise if I pronounce these words wrong. Sometimes the zombification was done as a punishment, striking fear of those who believed that they could be abused even after death. But often the zombies were said to have been used as slave labour on the island's farms and sugarcane plantations, though no evidence of zombie-filled farms was ever found. The voodoo popular in movies popular in movies and fiction bears little resemblance to real voodoo beliefs or practices. Like I said, it's also referred to as hoodoo as well. So replace the H with the V with a H. Voodoo has become a prominent feature of the New Orleans tourism industry. With countless shops, tours, exhibits, museums, capitalising on that city's historic and some experts say tenuous connection to voodoo. Of course, stripping sacred objects and rituals out of their original context for commercial exploitation is nothing new. Witness Chinese-made Native American dream catchers for sale at dollar stores. In the end, voodoo has a largely undeserved reputation as a sinister religion. Though some voodoo rituals involve animal sacrifices, it is hardly unique. Many other religious traditions involve animal bloodletting, including Christianity, Islam, Judaism, and Hinduism. The irony is that voodoo's best known and more sensational features, including voodoo dolls and zombies, have little to do with actual beliefs and practices. Benjamin Radford is a deputy editor of Skeptical Inquirer Science magazine and author of 6 books, including Tracking Chupacabra and Scientific Paranormal Investigations. How to Solve It. That's it. So yeah, I mean, so it's like it has nothing to do with sinister things and you know what I mean, and stuff like that. Which you often hear, like, these ghost programs like, we went to this location where the history of Satanism and voodoo was practiced and witchcraft. Bollocks. Again, witchcraft is just a fiction invented by the church and the Christian community of Salem, and back in the days where women weren't allowed to think independently or answer back, people weren't allowed to question the church. That's when that sort of nonsense was created. You know what I mean? And same with Satanism. You will get some crackpots who claim to be Satanists who are like, oh, I worship the devil, I saw the devil and all sorts of shit, and murder people in the name of the devil. But it's just nonsense. So I hope you found this insightful. I just want to do a video about it because it's annoying. In a way, it's unknowingly, without us knowing it or realising, it could be considered xenophobic in a way. You know what I mean? Because it's like, if films misrepresent Islam or something like that, it's a bad thing. The same should now be done about voodoo. You know what I mean? I mean, Marvel did something different. They did it where it's like you have a character called Dr. Voodoo where he's using voodoo for good, or using what the stereotypical voodoo is the dark magic thing, but using it for good, like Doctor Strange uses magic, various types of magic for good. So it's like that's not seen about it. Also got Papa Midnight in Constantine. So yeah, but yeah, I just want to cover this because it is a very misunderstood cultural belief. Again, it all comes down to the fact that anything that's not that during a time that wasn't considered Christian was considered evil. You know what I mean? So yeah. So anyway, I hope you found this informative, and thanks for spending the time to watch and listen to my tidbits. I wanted to not go over it, but I wanted to add my couple of tidbits in. You know what I mean? Because I'm reading a book on Hoodoo practice. Was it Hoodoo for Beginners or something? Where is it? Oh, there it is. Yeah, it looks a bit mirrored in there, but it's Hoodoo for Beginners: Working Magic Spells and Root Work and Conjure with Roots, Herbs, Candles, and Oils by Angeli Bellard. Born and raised in Louisiana, and it was a tradition, hoodoo, tradition through her family, and that's only, yeah, a good book. Anyway, so yeah, so when you it really it's one of my pet peeves where you hear about it in like paranormal investigations. Oh, they used to do Satanism, bollocks. They used to do voodoo here. Yeah, but even if they did do voodoo back then, voodoo is not evil, okay? So like any religion, they have good gods and bad gods. And don't go wrong. I suppose you could get people who worship the bad spirits in it, but you know what I mean. But it's just all Hollywood nonsense, dears. Hollywood nonsense. So anyway, thanks for watching this video. If you like this video, hit the like, and if you're new to this channel, then please subscribe. It'll be great to have you here. Until next time, folks, take care and bye bye.